Hey guys, what's going on? This is Brian with Games Under Pressure. Today I got something a little special for you. We're going to be checking out Project Root on the PlayStation 4. This is a game that's coming out April 28th. It's cross-buy, so if you buy it on the PlayStation 4, you get it on the PlayStation Vita as well. And the developer, OPQAM, and the publisher Reverb have given me a chance to check out some early code of the game. This is not the final review code, so what you're seeing here can and probably will change quite a bit before the game launches in a few weeks, so keep that in mind. And because this isn't a reviewable copy, I'm not going to get into what I really like about the game, what I really dislike about the game. I'm just going to let the footage do the talking for me. So before we get started, I just want to make something very clear. I'm a very firm believer in waiting for final reviews before you jump in and purchase a game. Project Root is no different in that respect. I would absolutely suggest waiting for a proper review. I'll be doing a written and video review, or if you want to read a review or watch a review from somebody that you trust, definitely do that. This preview is in no way an endorsement of Project Root or indicative of the final quality of the game. So keep that in mind, and let's get into it. What you'll notice right away is the game's sort of throwback visual style. It's very reminiscent of games like Radiant, Silvergun, or Raiden. It's that top-down classic take on the shoot-'em-up genre. The one key difference here is that it isn't linear. So the screen is not forcing you forward in any way. You can really go wherever you want throughout this giant map. You have 3 weapons at your disposal throughout your time with Project Root. The first is a ground attack, which is useful for taking out tanks, turrets, things like that. The second is more of a standard energy cannon, which is useful for taking out flying enemies, ships that are in front of you or behind you. Finally, you have a third special weapon. Now, you can gain these special weapons by picking up power-ups that enemies drop. And the power-ups are a little bit different. So you'll have one that maybe shoots out a cluster of dozens of missiles, or you'll have another very powerful energy beam. And weapon choice is really dependent on the situation that you find yourself in. Because the game isn't linear in its level design, it's a little bit more of an open world. The developer has a little bit more leeway when it comes to mission structure. So it's not all about getting from point A to point B, completing the stage. There are specific different missions within and requirements to complete the stage. So you have primary and then secondary mission objectives. The first objective, the primary objective, is typically things like disable this force field and move on, or destroy this communication array. Things like that. There are also a few escort missions too, so sometimes you'll have to escort somebody on the ground as they make their way from point A to point B. The secondary missions are completely optional. You can choose to partake in those. You can bypass them entirely. And typically, the mission structure of those mirrors the structure of the main missions. So, for example, in a later level, one of the secondary objectives is to destroy a number of patrol boats. That should give you a pretty good idea of what the side missions actually are. There is a story here, and typically that's delivered one of 2 ways, either in dialogue pre-mission. So before you jump into a mission, there will be a few static photos with dialogue written underneath that give you an idea of what you're actually going into the level to do. And then while you're in the mission, you'll also get these small little dialogue prompts in the lower right-hand corner, which you can choose to read or even ignore if you so wish. There's also a basic leveling system in play in Project Root, and you can see in the upper left-hand corner there are 2 meters. One is a green meter, one is a blue meter. The blue meter is the meter showing your experience and the progress towards that next level. When you achieve a new level, you typically get a number of experience points. Those experience points can then be used to level up your ship in a persistent way, which carries over from mission to mission to mission. The stats that you can upgrade are typically things like speed, defense. You can level up the power of your special missiles, of your normal missiles. So you have a few options there. Missions are pretty long, with some of them taking upwards of 35 minutes or so. Adding to the game's difficulty is the fact that if you die, you have to start the whole mission over. So you could, in essence, lose 35-40 minutes of progress if you die and need to restart. There's a fair bit of environmental variety here. So you'll play in levels that are like the forest or geothermal levels with lava flowing underneath you. There's a traditional water level, which is kind of cool. So the settings never really overstay their welcome, and you are moving through them at a pretty good clip. So there you have it. That is an overview of Project Root on the PlayStation 4. If the footage that you've seen intrigues you, the game will be available on April 28th. Again, I would just, as is the case with all games, not Project Root in particular, I would just say hold out for a final review. I'll be writing a review. I'll be producing a video review. So keep an eye on the channel for that. Subscribe so you don't miss it if you would be so kind. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.